Hello, Chicksaw's Glitch here. This is my first commentary. Hope you like it and let me know what you think. Prepared on Pokémon Red is the level 28 Lapras. This Lapras will be used to execute arbitrary code on Crystal when it has an unterminated name and specific moves. Using a TM34, it will be taught Bide as move 2. Usually, the only way to get an unterminated name Pokemon in Generation 2 is by creating a bad clone. However, it is also possible to get one in Generation 1 from either Stable Unstable mission though, in which you ride on its named Master Ball, or a stack corruption glitch such as through the 9F glitch item. This is ideal because it can take many reset attempts to obtain a bad clone, while the aforementioned methods are most likely guaranteed to work. You can also use arbitrary code execution, such as via the 8F glitch item, to remove all the 5-0 terminators in a Pokemon's name, but I thought it would be nice to show off how to do this without arbitrary code execution. Eventually, with the Lapras Pokemon in the storage system and many users of the 9F glitch item in Red and Blue, the name of the Lapras will corrupt, likely with no 5-0 terminator present, but its moves will remain unchanged. After only a few 9F users, the name of Lapras probably won't change, but keep at it and eventually its name should corrupt. And voila! We have an unterminated name Lapras with its original moves. We can trade it to a Generation 2 game with the time capsule enabled and then proceed to level it up to level 29 and level 50, where it should learn Perish Song and Safeguard respectively. Before you attempt to withdraw it, you should save and reset the game to avoid ROM fees, probably because we messed up the stack, and view the summary of specific Pokemon. Here, a Pidgeot with Mirror Move as move 4 works to avoid another freeze. Save the game once the corrupted Lapras is in your party. The game we are going to trade Lapras to will be a Pokemon Go, but it theoretically can also be Silver or Crystal, as we only need to level it up to level 50 for it to learn Perish Song and Safeguard. As you can see, the Lapras has successfully traded over and the game interprets its nickname on the party menu as a question mark. Using an XP share, You should be able to raise the Lapras to level 50 for it to learn Perish, Song and Safeguard, and have the moves Perish, Song, Bide and Safeguard respectively. The reason it needs these specific moves is because the moves represent the Jump DB75 instruction, which the game is going to execute. DB75 is an address in Pokémon Crystal for the beginning of box names. As raising the Lapras would take a long time, we are going to use a wrong pocket rare candy to raise it to level 50. Items can be used infinitely outside of their relevant pocket if you use a glitch such as coin case arbitrary code execution to force them there. Now we are going to trade Lapras to a Pokémon Crystal which only just got the Pokédex and the ability to trade. We use a crystal like this because it's possible there might be code from CD5 too, i.e. the address that is going to serve as our initial execution point that could freeze the game on save files which should progress later. The trick we use for this demonstration, which has up item times 21 arbitrary code execution, was used recently in Pokémon Crystal any percent speedruns, such as those from Merster and Enter Pointers, in which a Pokémon has a specific trainer ID and experience. With random number generation manipulation you can get the correct trainer ID, but I currently don't know the specifics and may leave that trick for another video. Although it may not be necessary, I've used Chikorita's Pokédex entry in case any glitches are caused by Lapras's unterminated name. Incidentally, you may be wondering why my first name in Crystal, as well as in my recent comic corruption glitch video, is Evie rather than Tom. The reason is I'm currently gender questioning, and I feel I'm much more as female, and Evie is the name I will want to have if I ever transition as female. I prefer the pronoun she now, but it's still okay if you call me he. Now we have the Lapras with Perish, Song, Bide and Safeguard on the new Pokémon Crystal save file. We are finally ready to execute box name arbitrary code. Additionally, this Pokémon Crystal save file has an antidote times 21 as the second item, which is necessary for the glitch due to an exploit involving the Hex 15 or Day control character. I've written codes for many box name cheats to be used for this glitch, which you can find in the paste bin in the description. First off, we are going to use the code to obtain TM17 outside of the TMHM pocket with a bootstrap code to DB75. This will make executing the code simpler, fail-proof and save a bit of time. To perform times 21 arbitrary code execution, we press A on the antidote times 21, go to toss 21 but exit with B, and then scroll down and press A on cancel to exit the menu before viewing Lapras's summary. Pressing A on the cancel is also a required step. As expected, our item 1 has become a TM17, and using it will execute the beginning of box 1 like we programmed times 21 arbitrary code execution to do. I'm not sure if it is needed, but to be safe, I save and reset the game after the code. TM17 outside of the TMHM pocket executes code from FA47, which is Echo RAM for DA47. The code we use places jump DB75 at DA47, allowing it to work like the arbitrary code execution method that was used before. The next code we are going to use will give us all 16 badges, which will be useful so that we can use all HM moves and have all Pokemon obey. Voila! As if by magic, our badge count changed from 0 to 16. Now we are going to give Pokemon 1 Fly. Later we will go to Golden Rod City Pokemon Center to get a GS Ball via an obscure gift feature. Before that we will need to be able to get there first, which is why we want to teach Fly. Notice that a visible change can be seen in the box 3 box name. This is because the badge code was made to be self-modifying to account for a lack of valid characters for the execution. As expected, our Pokemon 1, which was the start of Cyndaquil, now knows Fly as Move 1. We have only been to New Barktown and Cherry Grove City. They are the only locations we can fly to. Hence, we are going to use another code to be able to fly to all locations in Johto possible. As expected, the code worked, and we are able to fly anywhere in Johto, and Kanto if the code works as intended. Next, we will use the code to activate the GS Ball gift distribution here in Goldenrod City Pokémon Center. The distribution can be activated by setting the SRAM address BE3C to 0B in SRAM Bank 1. Since SRAM is write protected and banked, we have to tell the game which bank to use and to enable writing to the SRAM. As a result, this code is relatively long. In the code, a series of bytes, or EI operations, are used as code that, although do nothing notable, are needed to displace two addresses we modify into the range of what can be represented by box name characters, specifically to FBD1 and FBD0. Now, as soon as we step on the Pokémon Center exit map, we are given the GS Ball. Hooray! We can give this GS board to Kurt in Azalea Town, who will take a day to inspect it. After waiting a day, Ilex Forest, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, will become restless, and it is possible to encounter and catch Celebi by putting the GS ball into the Ilex Forest shrine. Before we catch Celebi, we will want a master ball. We can use the code we are entering now to change item 2 into a master ball, which can be used infinitely as it is outside of the ball's pocket. Next, why not manipulate a rare candy into the ball's pocket? Since it is in the wrong pocket, it can be used infinitely, and we can use this on our Cyndaquil for the Slowpoke Well battles, as we have to beat the Rockets there before Kurt will take the GS ball. Before using this code, you should fill box 1's name code with 5 before entering the actual name to avoid a potential freeze. Kurt has now taken the GS ball, but we have to wait a day for Ilex Forest to become restless and for us to get it back. Luckily we have a code to advance the day by 1, if the day hasn't advanced yet since your save file, or another code to change it to the day after that, so we will use that on the quest for Celebi. The game's day of the week is set to the first Sunday. We can use the code to change it to one day after it, i.e. Monday, and this will count as advancing by 1 day. Now Kurt will talk about Ilex Forest being restless, and we are able to catch Celebi in the Ilex Forest. We are given the GS ball back, as expected. We just caught Celebi! Hooray! We now have Celebi, but we're not done with the video demonstrations yet. Let's show how to get a Mew as well. There's no in-game Mew event, but if we change the contents of the egg you are given at the daycare into a Mew, you can get one that is registered in the Pokédex. Let's first pick up the bicycle from Goldenrod City Bike Shop. No, the number of Master Balls we have after catching Ditto remain the same as they're in the wrong pocket. We are now going to use 2 codes to change the contents of the egg to Mew, and to change the egg cycle value to 0-1, allowing us to hatch the Mew quickly. Technically, this changes the second species byte of Pokémon 1, so if the Pokémon is not an egg, taking it into the daycare and out will change it into a Mew as well, although it probably won't register in the Pokédex that way. Oops, we accidentally sent the unterminated name Pokemon into a battle. This time the game didn't freeze, but beware as there's no guarantee that the game won't freeze. And, as if by magic, we have obtained a level 5 Mew. Note that when you deposit it into the storage box and withdraw it, its level might change to something else such as 4. However, this can be fixed with a rare candy we manipulated earlier. To finish off this video, let's do something neat. This might not work in Goldenrod City Pokemon Center, but from Cherry Grove City Pokemon Center, the code will definitely work. Can you guess what it is yet? We've made it to the gate of the unused Generation 2 Safari Zone. If you enter through the doors to the north, you can explore it. There are no wild Pokemon here other than those blue rods, but none are specific to the Safari Zone. You won't be able to escape with Fly, so it's best not to save the game here. this is the end of this long video. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed it.